Hi everyone, it's Omyra back here with another video. So today is my ethical decision making video for my professional practices class at Blackhawk. So I'll be discussing my ethical dilemma about Sam again, and I'll be applying the ethics decision making model from this week's reading and the guide and my response, like how it guides my response, I should say. So this model helps guide professionals, since I'm just still a student right now. So it helps professionals navigate complex situations by evaluating values, consequences, risks, and responsibilities. So start with E, evaluate the dilemma. So in this scenario, I'm working with my young adult named Sam. So during a counseling session, Sam confides in me that he has been having violent thoughts about a former partner. Yikes. And he insists that he would never act on it and never actually hurt them. But he does admit to, following this ex-partner's social media and, driving by their home, which, again, yikes. So Sam pleads with me, as anyone would, to not tell anyone because he fears legal consequences and he has a lot of emotional distress from it. So this dilemma really lies in balancing Sam's right to confidentiality, which everyone has, with the duty, to protect his ex-partner from the potential harm too. But this situation places ethical standards in conflict, a lot of conflict, and no ideal course of action is immediately clear. So, T, think ahead. So, I would consider the possible outcomes, of course, for each option. If I maintain confidentiality, I preserve the trust with Sam that I would have, but I would also risk the safety for this partner, for this other person. But if I were to breach confidentiality, I may damage the therapeutic trust and the progress that we've made in therapy in this counseling sessions with Sam. But I would, overall potentially prevent harm from happening, because even though he says it would never happen, there are signs to it could happen. So, but I'd also think about how this decision affects our stakeholders, Sam, ex-partner, agency, and myself as a professional. So, and these consequences, thinking about these consequences have to be weighted carefully. I can't just be like, oh, I'm going to do this one over this one, and uneven. No. So H, for help. So I'd seek a consultation from my supervisor, and I'd review the agency policies. I would also consider legal guidelines, such as certain rulings, which go into and require, professionals to warn identifiable individuals if a client poses, credible threat to them. So I'd ask certain targeted questions, such as does Sam's behavior meet the threshold for a duty to warn? What are the legal obligations in my jurisdiction? And so forth. And so this consultation helps clarify the ethical and legal boundaries of my decision and in this dilemma. So I, information. So I'd review my NOHS Code of Ethics, especially Standard 3, which I was to protect confidentiality unless it risks serious harm, and Standard 4 to take action if a client may endanger others. So I'd also, go back and examine relevant laws and my literature on, the duty to warn and ethical risk management. So this step ensures my decision is informed by current standards and practices. So C, calculate risk. So I'd assess all the risks to all of the parties. Sam's behavior, which is what we went over, the stalking and violent behavior. So this all suggests as a credible threat, which why wouldn't it? And so the risk to the ex-partner is very significant, because if this continues and one night Sam's just having a bad night and something could happen to this partner, and we want to protect this person from that. So my liability would increase with that as well if I fail to act and fail to stop Sam from doing this. So breaching confidentiality may reduce risks to others, so the ex-partner or anyone who's in Sam's way, because it could just stop at the ex-partner, but it could also go forth. But it also fulfills my legal duty. So even if this temporarily harms, Sam's in my relationship, it's better to not have that risk for others out there, So S, select an action. So based on the ethics model, I have decided to notify authorities and possibly the ex-partner, following agency and legal protocols, of course. So I explained the decision to Sam about what I had chosen, why I chose to do this, but I also explained it in a way with compassion and emphasizing my legal responsibilities and my ethical decisions. So, but I'd continue working with Sam to rebuild this trust and to address any underlying issues, because this seems like something very more internal than anything else, really. So yeah, I'd continue working with Sam, and that would show my actions were rooted in concern for everyone, and not just for the ex-partner, for myself, just for Sam, if I were to choose that way, therefore everyone around us. So in conclusion, this dilemma highlights the complexity of the ethical decision making in the human services field. So by applying this ethics model, I was able to make a thoughtful, informed choice and balance my confidentiality with safety. It's a reminder that ethical practice requires not just compassion, not just niceness, not all that. It also needs clarity and courage to do it. So, you know what? I'm glad that I went and told this ex-partner. I even just reading this as someone who has no training, only a couple classes done, I knew that was the right thing to do, just ethically, morally, gut instinct. So, yeah. So, thanks for listening, and I look forward to doing this again.